Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with a controversial view of Shazam and other movie Mandela effects. Controversial View is the series in which Jason from Horrific Nightmares and I watch and discuss controversial movies and TV shows. The controversies vary from film to film and episode to episode. For today's controversial view, we're doing something a little different. We're covering a general topic: movie Mandela effects. For those of you unfamiliar with the term, the Mandela effect is a psychological phenomenon in which a large group of people share a false memory of a specific event, person, or piece of media. Mandela media matters. Sometimes it gets extreme too. People will fight tooth and nail to not be wrong. Some refuse to even acknowledge concrete evidence. Others will argue against the proof. In many cases, there is no convincing them that what they believe exists doesn't. Now, admittedly, there are some that I find hard to believe are conspiracies. One in particular for me is the Fruit of the Loom logo not containing a cornucopia. I could have sworn it did, at least back in the 90s. But this controversial view video is specifically about movie Mandela effects. One of the biggest involves a movie called Shazam that allegedly starred Sinbad as a genie. Now, as you can see on the left, there is a movie called Shazam starring Shaq as a genie. But people are adamant that Shazam exists. And no, not the DC film. What I told you. A genie movie starring Sinbad. Oddly, despite claiming to have seen it, no one can seem to describe the actual plot, other than Sinbad plays a genie. These same people also can't tell you who else stars in Shazam, although some claim it was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. There are mock-ups of a fake VHS box that looks just like this Shazam cover, only with Sinbad as the genie, Sinbad's name instead of Shaq, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas as the kid below. Lots of people will argue that they own it on VHS, but they can never find the tape. The same image of that fake VHS box floats around the internet, with these people using it as proof that Shazam was a movie. When they claim they own it, others will ask them to pop it in the VCR so we can see some actual footage. But they always have the same excuses. They don't have a VCR, it doesn't work anymore, they can't find the tape but they know they have it, it's in storage. You're telling me not one person, not one, has a copy of this movie? I believe it, because it doesn't exist. Clearly, they're mixing up memories and associating Sinbad with Shazam. This Mandela effect got so big and so viral that it made its way to Sinbad. He went on to film fake footage spoofing the whole thing. And now people try to use that footage as proof that it exists. The whole thing is wild, and I'm saying this as someone who does believe in some of these. As far as Shazam goes, though, I unfortunately do not believe it exists. Although I wish it did. I'd watch it. In the comment section below, tell me if you've somehow seen Shazam starring Sinbad as a genie. And if so, share some proof. Another wildly popular Mandela effect involves the Berenstain Bears on the right. The Berenstain Bears was, of course, a children's book series written by Stan and Jan Berenstain. Its popularity spawned some animated features as well, seen on this VHS tape on the right. I have to admit again, guys, this was another Mandela Effect I was all in on for a while. Many people, and I mean many people, believe that Berenstain was spelled differently growing up. They believed, and I even still sort of believe, that at one point it was Berenstain. And for the naysayers who say, yes, but the authors' names are Stan and Jan Berenstain, well, we thought their names were Stan and Jan Berenstain. Sure, it's probably a false memory, and it's not that serious. But there's something really cool about this tape. And admittedly, I was very excited when I found it at a thrift store earlier this year, because I had been looking for it. And here's why. Check out the label on the tape. The Berenstain Bears learn about strangers. Listen, I'm not gonna be ridiculous about this. I'm sure it was just a typo. But it's an oddly fitting typo for those who believe this Mandela Effect. Of course, this is the very tape people use to support their claim. Again, I'm sure it's just a typo, but it's really cool to have in the collection. Do you remember it as Berenstain or Berenstain? Let me know that in the comments as well. Moving on to a few others now. We have Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Silence of the Lambs. These are just two of many movies in which people quote the lines incorrectly, claiming they are right, and the dialogue somehow changed over the years. In The Empire Strikes Back, people swear Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." I mean, come on. Pop culture doesn't help, because that's exactly how they quote that line in many things. In actuality, though, the real line is, "No, I am your father." Doesn't quite sound as good, if you ask me. A famous line from The Silence of the Lambs is, "Hello, Clarice," said by Hannibal Lecter. But guess what, guys? He doesn't say that in this movie. The closest we get to that is, "Good evening, Clarice." It's funny how when you believe something like this, you can watch a movie and think, did they edit this? The reality is you're just remembering wrong. It's the Mandela Effect. E.T. does not say E.T. phone home. He says E.T. home phone. And in Jaws, it's not, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." It's, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." These are two classic movie lines that nearly all of pop culture gets wrong. In Saw, Jigsaw, or Billy the Puppet, never asks, "Do you want to play a game?" Instead, he says, "I want to play a game." Many people would have you believe it's the former, but it's not. He never asks. It's a statement. Another Star Wars Mandela Effect involves C-3PO. Many people think he's completely gold, but he has a silver leg, or at least a silver shin. In Gremlins, there is no gremlin named Spike. Stripe is his name. Still, people will argue. Does Curious George have a tail? He's a monkey, so he should, right? You've seen his long monkey tail in the books, in the movie, and on TV, haven't you? Nope. No tail on Curious George. Another widely believed falsehood or Mandela Effect is that it's Interview with a Vampire, but it's actually Interview with the Vampire. The Risky Business Mandela Effect even surprised me. I guess I was a believer in that one. In the iconic dance scene, Tom Cruise is not wearing a white button-down shirt. He is not wearing sunglasses, and he is not singing into a hairbrush. He's wearing a pink button-down shirt, no sunglasses, and singing into a trophy. This one I find interesting, because over the years in real life and in pop culture, such as other movies and TV shows, when people dress as that character for Halloween, they wear the white button-down shirt, the sunglasses, and carry around a hairbrush. At least they usually get the socks right. Here's one you might like. When I saw Blood Relations as a kid, there was one scene that really stuck with me. It involved an elderly man telling a beautiful woman to take off all of her clothes. Well, she did. Her clothes came off, she was stark naked, full frontal nudity, and walked toward his bed. But here's the thing. I remembered her being a blonde, and not a dirty blonde. Bleach blonde hair. Long. On her head, I mean. For decades, I actually couldn't even figure out what that scene was from. It was a fluke that I found this movie again. And when I watched it, there was the scene. Amazingly, despite being burned into my young memory, she wasn't blonde. Everything else in the scene does play out pretty much how I remembered. But she's a brunette. I'm not complaining either way. It's just a funny Mandela effect. And while there are so many more I could cover, and kind of want to, because this has been a fun video to film, I'll conclude with this. This one is more of a personal Mandela effect, although apparently there were others who felt the same as me. Back in the 90s, I could have sworn I had seen a cut of Child's Play that featured the aftermath of Maggie's death. After she falls out the window and crashes into the vehicle below, I was certain they showed her face. I remember seeing it along with her mangled body. The first edition of Child's Play I ever owned was on VHS, and I watched it and thought, hey, this tape has been edited. It was the MGM re-release, which I guess I could have shown in this video, but it looked similar to this DVD on the left. I figured maybe I needed to buy an original release of the film. So I did. And guess what? No mangled Maggie's face. Did I see it on a rental copy? Was it a version broadcast on TV? Although that wouldn't make sense. The years passed and I had sort of given up on it. And then we reached the DVD era. I got this MGM DVD on the left, and truthfully, I wasn't hopeful that it would include that scene, considering my MGM VHS didn't. Of course, again, no mangled Maggie's face. I bought the special edition DVD when it came out. Still nothing. And then, of course, Blu-ray releases, including this Scream Factory Collector's Edition on the right. Guys, I obviously know I was remembering wrong. I would have seen that shot again by now. What did briefly lead to a resurgence of that belief for a while was back when IMDb had message boards. I made a post years ago, specifically about that scene, and multiple people commented that they had seen it too. They assured me I wasn't crazy, I wasn't making it up. That shot existed. But that footage has never surfaced, so clearly it was just the Mandela effect. There are plenty more, movie-related and not. That was just a few. This is just my controversial view. Please be sure to check out Jason's as well. How about you? Are there any Mandela effects that you firmly believe? Comment below and let me know. As we get back to our regular way of doing these videos, which controversial movie or TV show will we view next? Check back soon to find out. Until then, remember, physical media matters. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.